Sure.
Two or three.
Okay, all right, now. Learning sponsors, year of learning, many friends of Stephen Vigdal, Zeichen Nishmat, Simcha Melech Ben Meir Leib Halevi, friends of Marcy Kurtz, in memory of her great niece Leah Bracha, Isaac and Evelyn Blachor, in memory of his sister Chaya Rachel Bas Isser, friends of Leonie Meiselman, Leah Saber Bas Chonah Zindel, 2 months of learning, friends by the friends of Milton Meller in honor of his second bar mitzvah. A month of learning by Charlie Gelfenstein in memory of his mother Dacia Gilbas Meir Halevi and his father Meir Ben Yaakov. Chaim and Phyllis Reese in memory of his father Mordechai Ben Yom Tov Lipa. Where's Erwin this morning? Wasn't he in Shul?
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't in Shul?
Moshe Metzger wasn't in show. Avrami wasn't.
Avrami is away. They went away. They're going to be away through
Hanukkah.
about a month. They're going there. It's Israel for
So
2.
is Metzger.
Isaac and Nevin Blach in memory of his mother, Gisela Bar Chaim Yitzchak. It's because the kids in yeshiva get some time off for Hanukkah. So he's got 3, 4 grandkids. Ron and Susan Podolsky in memory of his mother, Fred Bashraga 50, Phyllis and Chaim Reese in memory of her father, Pinchas Ben Abraham. A week of learning, Susan Fuchter Kramer in memory of her father, Moshe Ben Yechiel Michel. And that's it. May the Neshama's have an aliyah.
22-year-old grandson was making a siyum on Shas. That's why he's done.
Oh, Moshe?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, good. Hashem's having aliyah, crank refuel that the Yeshua Shem Latzliah, L'chol B'nai Yisrael, good bench job.
Amen.
Okay. Marty is here? Yeah. Okay. We stop. We're going to start on the top of Mem Daled, Amud Aleph. In a moment. Okay. All right. I just want to go back real quick to the next to the last line on Mem Gimel. Okay, Tanya. All right. Pick up from there. All right. Marty, you there? No? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Tanya says a brighter. Amafkir et sadehu kol shlosha yamim yechol lachzor bo. According to the brighter, okay, one who makes his land ownerless has a period of 3 days in which they're able to reclaim it. Mikan ve'elech ein yechol lachzor bo. From that point on, they're not able to,
Not to reclaim it,
well, to
undo
regain the ownership, which makes him like a new owner. Right. Well,
But this is retracting that.
well,
That it never happened.
I'm not, I wouldn't phrase it that way.
3 days.
No, I don't want to phrase it that way because the person, he makes it hefker, then it's ownerless. Nobody else claims it. He may claim it again, but in that way, he's considered still like a new owner. That's the important
But
thing.
if
And the Gemara is gonna-
he's
okay.
still continuing with something.
Okay, in this case, all right? Mikan ve'elech ein yechol lachzor bo. But after the 3 days,
Can't
You
retract
cannot-
the-
cannot do so. All right. Does it have to be announced publicly? I would think so.
Yeah. They put
I
up
would
a
think
sign
so.
in the shul. Schwartz's field is free
Right.
for the taking.
Okay? No, Bramowitz lives in
is
Yarmouth
smart.
A, so don't get started with him. Okay. Okay.
It's just, he's saying if someone doesn't claim it before the
If-
3
if-
days
if-
is up,
No, right, if somebody else doesn't come and claim it,
before the 3 days,
No, it has to wait 3 days.
okay? I'm not sure.
If somebody claims it during the 3 days, it's theirs.
It's theirs,
it's theirs.
right?
It
You
cannot
come
be-
and, I declare this land ownerless.
Right.
You come and claim it the next morning. But I realized, oh my goodness, I really didn't mean to declare that land ownerless. I meant to declare this land that I own ownerless,
But if
but I
You're there,
can't,
it's too late.
and you've already claimed it,
it's too late.
it's too late.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
the difference is, it's, if he reclaims it within 72 hours, it's as if he was a continuous owner.
That's if no one else had claimed it.
I don't
But
like
if
that.
he
I don't
reclaims
like
it
that
after
explanation.
73 hours, then it's as if he was a new owner. And that would affect things like
Maser. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna touch on it. Okay, go on, Mem Dalet. Let's say, so now the person is going to declare hefker, but within a time limit, a time frame. Okay? Amar, he says, Tehei Sadeh Zo Mufkarim Liyom Echad. I'm declaring this land as hefker for one day. Okay, L'Shabbat Echad, for 1 week. L'Chodesh Echad, for 1 month. L'Shana Echad, for 1 year. L'Shavua Echad, for 1 7-year cycle. Okay? Right? What happens? Ad Shelo Zacha. Right? So long as another individual has not come and claimed that. Okay? Ba Bein Hu Uvein Acher. Okay. And okay, he right, or somebody or anyone else. Yachol Lachzor, he is able to, I'm going to use the word here, retract his statement of
72 hours is now as long as the
okay.
state. But if somebody claims it, it's theirs permanently.
Right. Okay. Mija zacha ba bein hu ubein acher. If someone else comes, right, and claims it, whether it is somebody else or he himself, ein yachol lachzor bo, he is not able to retract that designation of hefker, of ownerlessness. Okay. So the Gemara now raises the question: Reisha Rabbanan, Sefer Rabbi Yossi. It would appear then that our text is structured by two, if you want to say authors or individuals, the beginning based on rabbis, the end based on Rabbi Yossi. Amar Ula. And Ula tries to bring an explanation. Sefer Nami Rabbanan. No, we can say that the end part of our text is also according to the rabbis. Why? Ihachi, if that's the case, questions the Gemara of Ula's explanation, right? Amai ad shelo zachaba bein hu bein acher yachol achzor bo. If that's the case, all right, that it's also by the rabbis, why are we saying that if somebody else or he himself, okay, comes to claim that ownerless land, all right, that he can't, that it doesn't retract that statement of hefker, of ownerlessness.
When he declares the hefker,
Well, Michael, wait, hold on.
does that mean he makes a public announcement?
Yeah, that's what was asked, right? He must make, it would appear
People
that
have to know about
he must make some announcement.
it.
You know, maybe he writes something down on a put it on a sign or whatever.
You put it on the bulletin board initial.
Okay, all right. So what happens?
Someone, as she puts it on Twitter.
Not put on New York Times.
Works with a
A legal notice in the back of the paper.
Okay.
If it's owners for 1 day, it's the same as if it's owners for a year, no? The next day someone comes and takes it? I don't know.
Okay. The implication I got from Art Scroll's commentary is that by saying it and putting a time frame on it, it indicated that the person really, their intent was to really wanted to hold on to the land.
Right.
Okay,
Because
And-
most people were after it.
because normally the normal method, as Ruvain is saying, the normal method of making something hefker is basically, I am giving up ownership of this item and I'm not interested in it anymore. And therefore somebody else can come and claim it. But by putting the time frame on it, Art Scrolls commentary suggests that it means the person's really does not want to give it up totally, completely, things like that. Okay, so why do it? Because maybe we're going to get 1 second, Mal. I'm going to come back to you in a second. Why do it? Because there were individuals who were doing it, okay, and they were doing it so to be able to cheat from not having to do maaser. Okay?
Or you could say to yourself.
Well, Mal had the next question. Hold on.
Say, Ben, same thing, a different thing with finding money when you walk. And you figure, what a pocket, okay. But you can't do that.
And yes, you can. Ain't
No, you-
some money bekesser.
No,
Right.
you can't do that because you don't know if I was Irish or not. If I give
Right.
up.
Mel, that would be true with a book, but
That's
ain't
not
some
true.
money bekesser.
No, man.
The halacha is if I see you drop it, I can pick it up and keep it.
States-
Ain't some money bekesser.
No,
That's
no,
what
no,
the
no, that's why
halacha
you gotta
is.
say
You
it's
want to
a-
change the halacha? Go right ahead.
Okay, guys. All right.
And it's like somebody put it.
Okay.
there.
Let's all right. Okay, guys, enough. All right, let's go on.
If somebody made his field first he made a nether, he's not gonna have
Okay.
any hanot from his field, and he makes it after, and you said afterwards.
Okay,
That's a good
that's a
question.
different issue.
No, that's a great question.
I know, we're gonna see that within the Gemara. Okay, so hold on. All right, and then I'm gonna have you repeat it. All right? So the Gemara, so Ula comes back now to tries to answer. Shani Shana Ushvua, right? Delo Shechiche. He says it's different when one put a time frame on it, because that's not the common way of declaring something. It's not, I'm going to use the word normal in quotes, way of declaring something hefker. Okay? So now we're going to get another attempt, other than Ula's, to present it. Okay? Now ask your question.
Oh, somebody said, I'm not gonna have any hanot on this field, then he made it after, and it's past, nobody claimed it, and he reclaims it a week later. Could he have hanot on the field? So
No,
you
because he
he's a
said
new
this
owner.
field.
No.
If he said my field.
No,
might
but if he
be
said
different.
this field now,
No, this field means that piece of land forever. My field, your question would work. I'm not going to have any hanaf from my field. Then he
Okay.
declares it ownerless.
and then
For
he,
a block of time, it's no longer his field.
right,
And then he reacquires it. That would be you have your question would work.
Remember we said in the previous Gemara, the difference between this, that was part of the machloket.
This field. and
Okay,
my-
are you making that netter regarding the person? Are you making the netter regarding the land? Okay, and in that particular case, all right, if he's made it, okay, my field, then it's only when it is under his ownership. Once it's declared hefker, it's no longer his ownership. Okay, all right, let's go on. Reish Lakish Shema. Now Reish Lakish attempts to give another answer to the Gemara's question. Mi desefa Rabbi Yossi, since we say that the end part of our text seems to follow Rabbi Yossi, Reisha Nami Rabbi Yossi, then Reisha also the beginning part, okay, right? In other words, there is no regular hefker for by assigning a time limit shows a still desire to retain it. That was Art Scroll's note at that point.
And it's not ownerless.
Right? Hainu Tama, the Lolish Tacheach, Torat Hefker. So what then was the purpose? Okay, in order not to have people forget the whole practice of ownership and ownerlessness. Okay, in other words, remembering here that the following: Ihachi, if that's the case, afilu miyom rishon nami lahavi hefker. Okay, so in that case, why does he have to go through that whole process? why would we say 3 days? Well, right, why even claim 3 days? Whether he can claim it back or not, the implication is why just make it 1 day, right?
Why should we make it?
Okay,
If we have this retraction period,
right,
so
that's
you're
the
gonna
point,
wind up having
right?
people aren't gonna do it at all.
They're not gonna, no one is gonna come claim. Ihachi, afilu miyom harishon, nami lahave hefker. If that's the case, we should say then that even from that, the very first day after he declares it, why then even go through hefker? Amar Rava. So Rava again is going to give another attempt. Mipnei haramaim. And this is the point we were suggesting, okay, that there were individuals who were cheating. Why? The mafkiren, because they would make their land hefker. Vahadrin bahon. Therefore, they would then be exempt from maaser.
They'd immediately
And
retract.
then shortly thereafter, they would claim the land again and as their own. So they would be skipping out on having to do maaser. That's the
So-
point.
I mean, you have to give mine only
On
a
yours.
certain period.
That's the Yiddish shikah.
You have to give maaser for that land.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not a question of you give maaser at certain years, right? Got maaser rishon,
Oh, you
maaser
mean
sheni,
The year
maaser ani.
went by already.
Okay, so no,
They're in the
if
time
you
it's ownerless.
you declare that land ownerless,
So nobody has to give.
Nobody
maaser on produce
gives
that
Right.
is
that
already
produce,
grown.
well, you don't have to take maaser, any maaser from that produce.
What about when he reclaims it? Doesn't he?
Ah,
No,
so that's the
oh,
question.
so now he becomes a new owner. Once he becomes a new owner, then he would be
Exempt from
required,
maaser because
okay.
he didn't
Wait a
grow it.
second, but
If
it
we
goes
grew
on
by
a new
itself.
okay, what?
It goes on a new cycle.
It is, he would wait then till the next,
Right, he bought himself,
right.
so-
But that,
He
but
prefers
that
the cycle.
year's amount, he was exempt.
So that's why they put the 3 days. If I declare my land ownerless and then I reclaim it, that 3-day
Three period.
bumper means that from a halachic standpoint, I never declared it ownerless because I could have retracted it. It's like when you buy a building contract, you have 3 days to rescind. So therefore, he can't avoid the maaser issue because if he has to wait at least 3 days and he has to post notice, some sharp fellow will come along and take it out from under him, and instead of getting out of maaser, he won't have an
He won't
estate.
have the land, period.
So this 3-day period was to prevent the cheaters from making it hefker and then
Right.
immediately
So
reclaim.
why is this an issue? Because it's the rabbis who declared this a 3-day
Very
period.
pure.
So that's the Rabbanan. But according to the Torah,
Maaser is the rice.
okay, and Meiser is Doraisa, once he
And
gives up the
certainly-
ownership, right, he has no requirement to take Maser. Okay, so that's why now the Gemara is going to tell us the following.
And I read, the statement here says, why did they have the decree not take effect until after 3 days? That means he has 3 days, nothing can happen, it's still his for 3 days.
Unless someone claims.
Right. Unless somebody
But
else
he's willing
comes
to,
and
he's
claims.
not willing to take that chance.
That's
So
the
he won't do it.
problem.
Yeah, but it says the decree does not take effect until 3 days.
On him,
In other
so
words,
that he can't cheat on his taxes.
in other
But
words,
if somebody, in other words, the rabbis
To
wreck
me, to
the
me, it
risk
means,
reward
to me, it means if he declares that he still has 3 days
to retract.
to retract, and no one can do anything.
Wrong.
No,
Anybody can. still
somebody
claim.
else can still claim.
Yeah.
during those 3
Somebody
So
else-
what's happened is the
he's
rabbis
taking a
have to-
chance.
have altered the risk reward ratio because he cannot gain by retracting and then reclaiming because he still has to pay his maaser. So his gain is 0 and his risk is losing the whole field. So he won't do that. When before my field is way out in Yennensville, I put up this little sign on the bulletin board. My gain is I don't have to pay taxes.
What happens on day 4?
Day 4, I would normally
Reclaim it.
reclaim if my goal
It
is,
wouldn't be Mike.
and I would not be
Be
chayav
chayav
ma'aser.
ma'aser.
So but now the Gemara is going to tell us
It's
that
gonna
even
go
though
on.
you declare it hefker, until you or someone else acts, it's still considered in your rishus. So if you declare it hefker and you die, and nobody's claimed it, your children
Children
would
still
inherit.
get it. Okay, so let's go on. So the Gemara, right, so the
Because it's
Gemara
not
raises the
considered
question,
born.
aval da'araita lo have hefker. But so in other words, but according to the Torah, all right, it would not be considered.
Until someone takes it.
Somebody else comes along and claims, right? So the Gemara goes on. V'dilma ate la'asure min hachiyuv ala patur. So the Gemara raises another question here. Well, if that's the case, maybe there's the chance, says the Gemara, that he is going to take hefker from take maser from another piece of property.
Too much.
Okay, for this property, okay, being from what's required onto what's exempt, or the opposite, umina patur ala chiyuv, or take it from something from this property where he just declared it hefker onto something else where he still has a chayah.
So that
Okay.
introduces another new problem.
That's another issue. Taking maser on this crop for itself and not for this crop on another, or another on this crop. The amrinan lay, because why? We can say to him, ki me asart, asar mine ubaye. Okay, so that's the question. If you are going ahead and taking time, all right, you take it from this one on it,
Normally you take
from the one from that particular crop on itself, so to speak.
Right.
Meitive. So now we'll challenge this with the following. Hamafkir et karmo, one who declares ownerless his vineyard. Okay, and what happens? Uleshachar amad ubatzro. And the next morning he gets up and he harvests
It's great.
the vineyard. Okay. Chayav beparat, ba'olelot, ubeshichacha, ubepeya, upatur min hamaaser. Okay. He is exempt from the following items that are all matanos evyonim. Okay, that are gifts for the poor. Number 1, peret is grapes that fall from cluster while being picked. Number 2, olelot. Okay, they are underdeveloped. Okay, clusters of grapes. Number 3, shichacha, vines forgotten to be picked as part of the harvest.
Even though they were fully
Okay,
ripe.
and peah, the edge of the vineyard that was left unpicked for the poor.
He's still chayav for that.
He's
Right.
higher.
Why?
All right,
Because by picking a grape, it was an
He's-
act of reclaim,
all right,
reclamation.
So it's not,
Okay.
it's no longer half.
It's no longer hefker.
okay.
And then there's a Rishonim have an argument: did he reclaim just the fruit, or did he reclaim the field?
Right,
Another
let's go
Gemara.
on. We'll see. All right, so what happened? So he still has, that's why it says chayav. He's still obligated in all of these examples of matanot, okay, for the poor.
However, he's patur.
But says the text, upatur min hamaaser, but and he would be, having declared the land ownerless, the vineyard ownerless, he would be exempt from the maaser. So the Gemara says, hold on, bishlema la'ula. That's acceptable according to the explanation that Ula gave. Why? The Rabbanan Katane, the Oraita Katane la. Why? Because on the one hand, it was the rabbis who made the 3-day rule, but nevertheless, according to the, okay, okay, but nevertheless, from the Torah perspective, the person is actually exempt because they don't own the land and therefore they don't have to give maser. That's the point. So that works for Ula's explanation. Ela l'reish Lakish. But according to Reish Lakish, Amai Patur min Hamaaser. Okay, why then would he be exempt from Maaser? Because remember, Reish Lakish gave an example. He said they're very different, right? He went back, says Reish Lakish, right? And he said the Sefer is according to Rabbi Yossi, all right? So what happens there? Okay, Amar Lach, okay, Reish Lakish would come back and tell you, Ki Amrei Ana, when I said it, the Rabbi Yossi, I was only explaining it according to the view of Rabbi Yossi's position. That's what I was doing. Ha, Rabbanan he. Okay, but in actuality, it is Rabbanan. So he's saying the Braita is according to the rabbis, and therefore hefker are not recoverable by the owner, okay, according to the Torah, right?
In other words, the concept of hefkerus is the eraisa,
Right,
but they made a rabbinic rule that you have the 3-day bumper.
right,
So if you reclaim it within the 3 days based on retraction, you own it min the Rabbanan, but you do not
have to own
min
it by
the Torah
HaTorah.
until you actually do something
Right,
like pick the grapes.
right. Okay, we're gonna stop there. I'll finish up.
Are you
Well,
going to do tomorrow?
Tomorrow's what?
Friday.
Friday. Yeah, because I don't know about, Reuben's gonna do Tuesday,
Right.
and I
And
may need
Wednesday,
you.
we'll try
to
If
do
you're not here,
Wednesday.
we'll do it.
Okay,
But so you're doing tomorrow.
I'll do tomorrow.
Oh, Baruch Hashem.
Okay, it's a
Giving everybody a happy
it's a short
Shabbos.
piece. Okay,
Okay.
all right, Michael, you with us? All right. Okay, good. All right, everybody.
A lot of people missing today.
We need volume 1 and 2 tomorrow.
We need both volumes. That's
Right.
why I said you should just do the next video. But it's okay.
Why do you do the next one, you know it?
Why not? Because I didn't have time to prepare it, to be honest, okay? And I don't like to try to teach it without having prepared it in advance.
Hey,
Have a good day.
Rabbi.
Besides, it's tomorrow's stop.
What?
Teach it. Everybody will say something like, I don't really understand this, but I'll teach it to you anyway. I said to him, you're doing this Kabbalah stuff. If you don't understand it, we have no confidence.
How can we expect?
Correct. We have no confidence. If you don't know it, at least pretend you do.